So, the truth is, you clicked on this video because one of your main goals in life is to become a millionaire. You see, growing up in the lower tier of the middle class, I witnessed all of the adults around me being miserable. They were overworked, underpaid, and undervalued. My mother worked nights at the hospital. She was treated as if she were a commodity. By the entitled patients, they were providing free healthcare too. And I also saw how my father was affected by all of this. As a young man, he had many dreams, many aspirations. But unfortunately for him, his family wasn't very supportive, so they did everything they could to discourage him from pursuing his dreams. They told him, oh, it's too expensive, it's too hard, do something else. Why can't you just be like everyone else? So instead of doing what he knew felt right to do, he went on to settle for a mediocre career, just enough to pay his bills and to provide for his newborn. But he let that dream of greatness suffocate within him. I saw my parents arguing a lot of the time, always complaining about bills and money. And at the same time, just like the other kids, I was going to school every day, and I couldn't really understand why everyone thought it was completely normal to make us learn a bunch of stuff we'd never need to use ever again in our adult lives for most of us, and wasting our precious time. And so growing up around all of that, and also seeing wealthier kids who could afford things that we couldn't, seeing how much better life was for them, it lit a fire inside of me. I knew if I could find a way to become a wealthy, a successful man, I could unlock a level to life most people didn't even think existed. So I made it my mission to discover the secrets of the ultra successful and make myself worthy of greatness. Look, the truth is, going from $0 to $1 million is extremely difficult, and if I'm being completely honest with you, 99% of people will never even get there. However, before you can make $1 million, you need to make $100,000, $10,000. If you want to achieve big things in life, you absolutely can. However, you need to focus on moving one step at a time, which is why before you focus on making millions of dollars, your priority, your new obsession should be to go from $0 to $10,000 a month as quickly as you can. Now, what I'm about to reveal in just an instant is a path that if you follow can make you a multi-millionaire in your 20s. And it's the same path I'm currently following, which has allowed me to go from sleeping in a basement infested with rats in a small town with no real opportunities to staying in some of the best buildings in the world. Now, before you can even think about what business to start, what career to go for, you need to ask yourself, why do you want to become a multi-millionaire? And sure, you might think, oh, I want to be rich because I want the nice cars. I want to drive, let's say, a Porsche. I want to buy a multi-million-dollar villa. I want to be able to enjoy life without limits. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of people will tell you, oh, I just have a business because I want to impact people. But honestly, these people are full of shit. I didn't start a business so I could change the world. I started a business first and foremost because I wanted to change my world. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with starting a business because you want to make more money, obtain a higher quality of life. But then, of course, at some point, when you make so much money, you can afford anything that you want, go on vacation whenever you want, drive the car that you want. When you get to experience the best things in life, at some point, you become more generous because you have so much, you don't need any more, really. That's the same reason why you can see billionaires and they're still working. They don't need to do it for the money. They could just stay in bed all day, do nothing. They have so much money, really, they'd never go bankrupt. But the reason why they keep working is because now they want to truly impact the world. They're trying to accomplish a mission which is bigger than themselves. What I've noticed is that typically there's two different groups of people. There's the people who only care about the money, the lifestyle, the luxury, the expensive watches, the cars, the yachts, and all of that. And then there's the people who only care about meditating, yoga, and being spiritual, and they hate the rich. Why couldn't we do both at the same time? Why couldn't we focus on healthy habits, improving our lives and the lives of others, and at the same time making a lot of money, enjoying the finer things in life? So while some people will try to shame you because you have materialistic desires, I'm gonna tell you it's completely fine. I personally love cars, and some cars, they might cost more than most people's house, but they are true works of art. The people who design the cars, who make them, the engineers, the designers, they're truly passionate about what they do. It's exactly the same thing as a renowned chef trying to come up with a new recipe. Yet somehow people can admire that. But if you want to buy an expensive car, they'll tell you, oh, you just care about material stuff. You're too superficial. I'll be completely honest with you. The path, the journey to becoming a multi-millionaire, it's extremely difficult. There's a reason why 99% of people will never actually achieve it. So every motivation is good to take because it's easy to show up and to do the work when you're super pumped up, you feel motivated. It's easy to go to the gym when you're just starting out, you're eager to see results, and in fact, as a beginner, you'll have what we call newbie gains. When you first start going to the gym, you'll start seeing results very quickly. It's gonna be very motivating. But what's hard is when you keep coming back to the gym again and again, or you keep working on your business again and again, day after day, when you're plateaued, when you're barely seeing any progress. Everybody looks at guys like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Michael Phelps, and they think, oh wow, life must be so amazing for them. But to be able to get to the level that they're at, sure, there's a bit of luck of circumstances, especially when it comes to sports, because you need the right build, you need the right type of physique. physique. But at the same time, these top athletes, they work so much. It's absolutely insane. The level of sacrifice they go to win, and not only to win one time, but to keep winning year after year, to win a championship after championship. Most people will never know what it's like to sacrifice to that level. But that's why, if you have materialistic desires, one of your main reasons for starting a business is just because you want to make money. You want to enjoy life, drive fast cars, have a penthouse, have a villa, then that's great. However, while you can have materialistic desires, I highly invite you to also have deeper reasons as to why you're gonna get to work. For me, I wanted to not have a boss. I wanted to pick my own schedule and be free. I wanted to be recognized for what I do. I wanted to wake up in the morning and feel proud of myself because I truly built a life that is challenging, a life that's incredible, and I can also provide for the people that I love. I just could not accept the traditional path, which was to go to university, get massively in debt, and then spending all of my life being a good taxpayer, a good consumer, and then one day dying. That's it. Because when you have a goal like that, you can't give up on it. You'd rather die. I mean, for me, it's always been a matter of life or death. Either I was gonna do whatever the hell it took to become successful, to build the life of my dreams, or honestly, I would rather be buried in the ground. Every time I meet someone new, I'm always asking them, what's your dream? And when I was younger, I would ask people, and a lot of them, honestly, they didn't say anything. They said, oh, I just don't know. Why are you alive then? What drives you? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What's your mission? What were you put on earth to accomplish? And when I talk about your mission, it doesn't have to be something absolutely crazy. It doesn't have to be finding the cure to cancer or fixing the climate change issue. It can simply be building a nice life for your family. That can be your mission. It can be building an amazing physique you're gonna be proud of and inspiring others to become healthier. Because if everyone focuses on getting better, improving themselves on an individual level, it will inspire other people to do the same, which is exactly what I love about social media. When you make content, you can inspire other people to work hard because you show them what's possible to be achieved if you work hard. Sometimes, honestly, when you're not feeling motivated, the best thing that you can do is to see other people working hard. Whenever I expose myself to high achievers, to people who accomplish a lot, I see them working 12-hour days and now I think, oh, well, it's normal to do that. Because if you speak to most everyday people, they wouldn't understand how you can work for 30 days in a row with no days off for 12 hours every single day. But oftentimes, that is what it takes to achieve greatness. I'll be honest with you, there's a reason why they say you'll never find someone doing better than you, criticizing you and hating on you. Because the truth is they're too busy improving themselves, crushing their goals, moving forward. Every time I see a hateful comment on social media, it makes me laugh because these people have no lives. And I genuinely believe that one of the greatest sources of inspiration that you can possibly have is to do it for someone that you love. Oftentimes, it's way too easy to let ourselves down. We promise this year is the year we'll stick religiously to our New Year's resolutions. We'll go to the gym every single day. We won't take a single day off. We'll build a business that will set us free. Get the job of our dreams. Do whatever it takes. We'll read books every single day. Quit alcohol. Stop smoking. But 99% of people, they fail their New Year's resolutions within just a couple of weeks. So if your reason for doing the hard work is just because you want to afford nicer things, it might be enough to drive you. But if you find yourself unable to focus, you can't get to work, most likely your reason for doing things is not strong enough. Otherwise, you would get to work. So what you can do instead is to work as hard as you can for someone that you love. If you're not even gonna do it for yourself, at least do it for the person you care about the most on this planet. It can be a parent, a friend, a lover, a child. When people are in love, they would do so much for the person that they love, but oftentimes they wouldn't even do a tenth of that for themselves. Love, emotions, they make us biased, but they also make us human. So take advantage of it. Now that you know exactly why you want to become a millionaire, you've got a crystal clear vision of who you want to become and what you want your life to look like. You need to understand that not every opportunity is equal. You could, technically speaking, become a millionaire through a high-paying career. However, in the traditional corporate world, there are very few opportunities that will actually pay you $1 million per year. And what happens if, like me, you grew up in a small town with no opportunities? You could try and move to a bigger city, but it's not gonna come without its fair share of struggles, and depending on the country that you live in, you won't even get access to the same opportunities career-wise as someone living in a more evolved country, in a first world country, to give you an example. And it must be incredibly frustrating for these top lawyers, these top executives, making 6 figures a year. They make $300,000 a year, and then on social media they see these 20-year-old kids making millions of dollars per year. Chances are, during your childhood and your teenage years, your parents told you again and again, study well in school, listen to the teachers, get good grades, and then get into a good university and get a high-paying job. Become a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer. And that's how at some point, after decades of slowly climbing the corporate ladder, you will get a job that will pay you $100,000 per year or even more. The issue is that is the old way of generating wealth. Fair enough, if your dream is to become a lawyer, a surgeon, go to university, you have no choice. However, if your goal is to build an incredible amount of wealth, that is the least efficient path you could follow in 2024 and beyond. With the arrival of the internet and of social media, the money-making game has completely changed. Without the internet, without social media, we wouldn't see any 20, 30-year-old self-made multi-millionaires unless you got extremely lucky, you had insane smarts, and you had the right circumstances. But nowadays, pretty much anyone with just a laptop, a steady internet connection, can do incredible things. And one of these people, you know him very well. It's Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson. He came from humble beginnings, but through the power of the internet and of social media, YouTube more precisely, he was able to become one of the most famous people on planet Earth. He built several businesses like Mr. Beast Burgers or Feastables, which is basically chocolate bars. And these businesses generate hundreds of millions of dollars. Now tell me, without the internet, without social media, would he have been able to achieve this at such a young age, to be worth so much money, to impact so many people? It would have been extremely unlikely. So if anything, the internet and social media leveled the playing field. You can truly start from nothing, you're at rock bottom. Like me, you come from a small town with no opportunities, and you can make yourself into a success, impact millions, even billions of people, positively transform their lives for the better. And yet your parents will still tell you, oh, if you want to make money, you want to get rich, go to university, get a high-paying job. The truth is, you cannot listen to your parents. They're giving you advice based on what they know worked in their era. But like I said, with the arrival of the internet, we entered a new era. And if you truly want to become a millionaire, you want to make a lot of money, you need to start an online business. Now, there are many online businesses that you could potentially start, and there's many different ways to make $1 million. However, I'll be honest with you, some business opportunities will be far easier to start, require less money, and they will have higher profit margins. They will have a better potential, while some other business opportunities could make you $100 million, but they will be extremely difficult to get started with. And on top of that, you'd need a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, to start these business ventures. So not exactly fit for beginners. And at the same time, you'll also hear people preaching opportunities that actually don't work. Now, a couple years ago when I got started in business, I really wish that someone could have taken the time to analyze every popular online business model so that I could figure out the pros and the cons and pick the one that suit me. But luckily for you, that's exactly what I've done. I've recorded a free guide in which I analyze in depth every popular online business model. Together we take a look at the pros and the cons. That way you can figure out which one is the best for you. If you're interested, I'll leave the link in the description below. So now that you know exactly why you want to become a millionaire, you're working on the right opportunity, it's time to set a clear deadline. I don't know if you've ever heard of Parkinson's law, but it basically states that the more time you allow yourself to complete a project, the longer it's gonna take. When you were in school, or if you are still in school right now, I'm sure you remember when the teacher told you, you have to complete this project in a month. Chances are you got started at best a week before it was due. That's because you had more time to get it done. So if you set a clear deadline for a goal that you want to reach, it will force you to make smarter choices and to work more efficiently. And that is one of the keys to achieving insane things pretty fast. However, I'm gonna warn you, the shorter the time frame, the harder the intensity, which means you'll need to work harder. It's gonna be more exhausting. But I genuinely believe everyone should do their best to become successful in their 20s. A lot of people think their 20s, it's the time to just have fun, to go to the club, to play video games for 12 hours a day for 2 months straight in the summer. But if you want to have a better life, a life that most people can only dream of but will never have, you'll need to do what very few people are actually willing to do. There's a quote I've always really liked, and it goes, work like a slave for a couple of years so you can live the rest of your life like a king. And it's completely true. I personally chose to sacrifice the first few years of my 20s so that I could live the rest of my life like most people can't. Because all the things that you want, no one is gonna just hand them to you on a silver platter. No one cares. You've got to go out there and earn what you want. And trust me, earning something is far better, far more gratifying than being given something. I know from very trusted sources, trust fund kids are miserable. They've got all the money in the world and they're 19, 20, but they didn't do anything to earn it. Their parents are typically very successful, so it puts a lot of pressure on them because they have to fill the big man's shoes. And if anything, I'm grateful I was born in a low-income, middle-class family because I don't have this pressure on me. Instead, I will carve my own path and I will become great because I choose to, because I choose to sacrifice. Sometimes I'll be honest with you, the work is hard, but every time I just remind myself, it's not a chore. No one is forcing me to do this. It's an honor, a privilege. And if you have this mindset, believe me, you will become extremely successful. At the end of the day, I genuinely believe life is way too short to not make your dreams come true, to not do anything and everything that you can to experience the best things that life has to offer. The worst thing that can happen to you is being on your deathbed. You know you're about to leave this world, and yet you realize you went after none of your dreams. Maybe because you were afraid of what your parents would say, of what your neighbors would say. You never started a YouTube channel because you were afraid of people in your school finding out about it. You never started the business that you wanted to start because you were afraid of failure. So really, the biggest risk is not taking any. And with that said, I will leave you on those wise words. words. And as always, I wish you the best.